Hey guys, I'm Eric with Extreme Terrain, and as you just saw and heard, we are checking out the MBRP 3-inch installer series single exhaust system with polished tip and a side exit for all 2009 and later Toyota Tundras. You should really be checking this out if you're looking for a more aggressive tone to your exhaust and you want a little bit of style to go with it, all wrapped up in an affordable package. Now, when we took our Tundra out on the road test to give you those sound clips, I noticed that it was quite a bit more aggressive in tone over the factory exhaust, but not overly so. If I had to rate it, I would give it probably about a 3 out of 5 on our loudness meter. Nothing that's going to be crazy waking up your neighbors. However, it is noticeable and pleasurable. When we were really opening up the throttle and getting on it kind of hard and accelerating, that's when this exhaust really comes to life and you really get that kind of pleasing crackling sound a little bit higher up in the RPM band. And the other part that I really like is when we're decelerating down and coming to an idle, there's like a nice burble down low that's really satisfying as well. Now, when we were cruising at just kind of average speeds, say 45 to 55 miles an hour, there's no noticeable drone at all. In fact, you can kind of hear the exhaust a little bit in the background. If your Tundra has some aggressive off-road tires, you might not even hear this exhaust. It doesn't really come in with any unpleasant drone or anything that's going to wear on your nerves if you're on a road trip. Now, this kit from MBRP provides 3-inch diameter tubing and a less restrictive muffler, both of which are going to add up to give you better sound quality, better throttle response, and a slight boost in power as well. Now, adding to that smoother exhaust flow is the mandrel bent design that utilizes heavy-duty 16-gauge aluminized steel. Now, that material does not provide the same level of corrosion protection as, say, a 409 or a 304 stainless steel kit. However, with this kit from MBRP, you'll be saving several $100s over those others. In fact, this kit currently comes in right around $450. As far as the installation goes, it's a direct bolt-on. I'm giving it about a 2 out of 3 wrenches on our difficulty meter, and I would say budget about 2 hours of your time to get this job done from start to finish. So with some basic hand tools, let's go ahead and get started with the install. All right guys, tools you're going to need for this installation, I highly recommend using some eye protection as well as some gloves, an electric impact wrench, a swivel socket, 14 and 15 millimeter sockets, a 5/16 Allen socket, and a hanger removal tool. All right, so before we can get started installing our new exhaust, we're going to go ahead and get our factory one off. We're going to show you how to do that while keeping our factory pipe intact. Obviously, if you plan on never reusing your original equipment, muffler and exhaust pipe, you can just cut it and make it a lot easier to remove off of your truck, to be quite honest with you. But this is a fleet vehicle, so this installation is not going to be permanent. So we're going to show you how to get it all out in one piece. So let's go ahead and get started. One thing I would recommend doing before you get going here, let your exhaust cool down if you've been driving your truck, and also get in there with some lubricating oil and spray up the little rubber hangers. That'll make popping those metal hangers out of the rubber a lot easier. All right, now to get started, like I already said, guys, I'm going to make sure everything's cooled down. These first 2 bolts that we're going to take out are right by a catalytic converter, which gets really hot. And we've been letting our truck sit for like an hour and it's still pretty warm. I also recommend having eyewear and some gloves while you work with your exhaust. Exhaust pipes tend to have sharp edges to them, not to mention the surfaces being hot as well. So let's go ahead and get these out. Our factory bolts are 14 millimeter. All right, same 14 millimeter socket for these 2 bolts as well. Now we're gonna have a total of 4 rubber hangers like this, guys, and to be quite honest with you, if you're trying to keep your pipe intact like we are, you can do these in any order that you want. We're kind of doing it the way it might be easiest for us to demonstrate for you. So we're at the one that's all the way obviously back here by our spare tire. And you might see a little bit of wetness here on the rubber. I sprayed some penetrating oil on there earlier just to let it sink in. That makes these coming off a lot easier. All right guys, now this is the 4th out of 4 rubber hangers. So obviously once we pop this one loose, you gotta make sure your pipe is supported in some kind of way. All right guys, that pretty much wraps up our uninstall, so let's go ahead and lay them out on the floor and check out how it stacks up with our new exhaust. Right now we have our factory exhaust off our truck. I want to put it here on the floor and give you a quick side-by-side comparison with our new kit from MBRP. Now obviously the thing that's really going to jump out at you is the huge size difference between your factory muffler and the new muffler that comes on your MBRP kit. This new MBRP muffler is probably less than half the size of your factory muffler, so you're going to have a lot less sound deadening going on. That's going to give you that more aggressive exhaust note. Plus you're going to have a lot less back pressure to your exhaust, and that's where you're going to see better throttle response and better power output from your Tundra as well. Other than that, you've got this high quality aluminized steel construction. Our truck is relatively low mileage, so our exhaust is not in that bad a shape, but if you have a higher mileage Tundra, or maybe your Tundra's seen some harder miles, you might be replacing a unit that's starting to rust out or has been dinged up a little bit and might be in worse off shape than the one we're showing you here today. So let's go ahead and get this new MBRP kit mounted up. All right, now we have our short pipe here. I've put some more PB Blaster up into the rubber hanger there, and we're gonna get this started first. All right, now I'm just gonna grab one of our factory bolts and get it started in here by hand. We'll do the same with the one up top. Just to kind of hold our pipe in place. We'll leave it loose for now until we get the rest of the pipe fitted on, and then we'll tighten everything down later. Right now, the longer front pipe here, we'll do the same thing. We'll get it started in the rubber hanger. We'll get it lined up here up front and get a couple bolts started. All right guys, now we're gonna line up our muffler to the pipes we've already attached. There are 4 clamps in your kit. You're going to want to grab the 2 smaller of the 4. The 2 larger ones are going to be further back because the inlet tubes here that are leading into the muffler are smaller diameter than what's coming out the back of the muffler. So once you have those smaller clamps started on there, go ahead and get this lined up and slide the new muffler on. You're going to want to get a good couple of inches of overlap at least. And there's little slats, but I don't know if you can see that right there. You want to make sure you don't see any gap between this pipe and that little slat there. You want a nice tight seal. And as you can see, I've let go of it and it's keeping itself in place there. We're not going to tighten anything down just yet. Let's move to the next section. All right guys, now grab one of the larger clamps out of the kit and get it started on the outlet of your muffler and the next section of pipe here. Start it up in the rubber hanger. Lock it in as much as you can and make sure you've got good overlap on the muffler, as well as enough of the metal hanger up in the rubber there that's going to hold onto it nice and tight. And the other thing too with your clamp, make sure that when you put it on, you orient it so that the nut is facing down, make it a lot easier to get your power tool on there to tighten it up here in a minute. After the last hanger here towards the rear of the truck, guys, we're going to go ahead and take the rubber off and put the rubber on the new section of NVRP pipe. Might make it a little bit easier to do that. It's kind of tight working space up here. All right guys, now the rubber hanger we just pulled off, go ahead and start it on your tailpipe here, and don't put it on too far on the hanger, kind of out here towards the end will work better. And we're gonna fit the pipe up to the other section of pipe first, and then we'll work our rubber hanger up onto the metal of the frame. Now fit the last clamp we have in the kit onto this piece of pipe we're attaching here, and make sure that you're gonna be able to access the nut with the tool, so make sure you have it oriented that way. All right, starting at the front, guys, let's go ahead and start tightening everything up, starting with our factory bolts. Again, a 14mm socket. All right guys, now we're going to tighten up these clips, or these clamps. Get them kind of oriented like this and kind of near the edge there. Now as you're tightening these down, make sure you don't have like your fingers on the edges of those clamps, because if any of your skin gets in there, these tighten up extremely tight and quickly if you're using a power tool. So make sure you keep your fingers away from the edges of the clamps so you don't get pinched. I use a 15mm socket on these. All right guys, the last piece we have is our polished tip. Go ahead and get that on. And you have quite a bit of adjustability here. You can slide it all the way up in if you want, or if you want it out a little bit more visible, like that. And then you're going to need a 5/16 Allen socket to tighten up the bolt that NVRP supplies. All right guys, that wraps up this review of this NVRP 3-inch Installer Series single exhaust system with a polished tip and a side exit for all 2009 and later Toyota Tundras. For all things Tundra, keep it right here at ExtremeTerrain.com.